Well, howdy, Nearly Senior Citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day. A good day to be alive. As long as you weren't alive back in the 1600s. I was watching on Twitter this morning, not watching, but scrolling through Twitter, and one of the things they had was a list of things that people had died of back in the one point the 1600s, and they had all sorts of things like rising of the lights, and planet, which reminded me because they used to have a condition you could be diagnosed as being planet struck, where a planet has a negative impact on your life and it may drive you to insanity or death. So if you're planet struck, well, they'll put you down as being planet struck when you die. Of course, there's no such thing as that, but still, yay, it's still good to be alive. Anyway, of course, to front load the video, if you could interact with the YouTube algorithms, and if you like what you hear and see, hit the like button. That would be very cool. Definitely a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed to the channel, you could also interact with the YouTube algorithms by subscribing. That too would be very cool. Definitely a thumbs up on that. And I definitely want to thank each and every one of my Patreon.com patrons. These people literally help keep me alive and not being homeless, though that's getting more and more of a struggle all the time. I'm on a limited income from my disability, and I do not make enough to live. These people keep a roof over my head, food in my stomach, and my pets alive. So thank you all so very, very much. And if you could become a Patreon patron, that too would be awesome. I do not know how, if I took my hands down in time, too fast or too soon. So we shall see. My lips. They keep drying and peeling off. It's just terrible. Absolutely terrible. Am I going to edit this out? Hard to say, because that sort of ties into a second thing I want to talk about. I'm going to edit some of this out maybe, because this is pretty awful. My lips are just peeling off entirely. But the point being on that, I am no hypervlogger, and there are limits to what I can do and what I can give and what YouTube expects and wants. I only say that because, even on my reaction channel, I'm lucky if I get like 50 or 60 views on a reaction. Some of them, like the Lana Del Rey ones, I'll get like 1,000 views and not much more. And again, I'm not saying I'm expecting views. I'm not. I'm not owed anything. All I'm doing by pointing that out is just what I am able to give and what I can feel comfortable giving are not exactly what YouTube algorithms want, because that ties back into the whole hypervlogging thing. I'm not a hypervlogger. Especially as I get older, it takes my brain and such longer to process things. But life is an electrochemical process. Thinking is an electrochemical process. It takes time. You need to process. And quite often, a lot of these really quick video things that are, popular are stuff that I don't get anything out of to watch, because it is so quick and fast, and then there's a cut onto the next thing. I'm still processing this while this is happening. So I don't get a chance to process anything. It's just a barrage of noise and lights. I like a bit more narrative to my noise and lights. So, and part of it, I imagine, part of the joke of it is, it doesn't matter if you're young. Things take time to process. It's an electrochemical process. So, likely part of the joke is you don't have time to process before you're on to the next thing. Which, while, funny, also I can't process. And, again, tying into the hypervlogging, I watched yesterday a fairly, he seems like a nice guy. He seems to have a nice personality, and he talks about things that are interesting, and his channel seems to be pretty good, and he's got like 3-point-some million subscribers, and he's growing all the time, So what he's doing is exactly what he should be doing. He's following and doing what the YouTube algorithms want. He's being shown to more people who like that sort of stuff. They're watching. Because they're watching, he's growing. It gets recommended more. He's doing what he has to do, and that's good. I can't watch it. I've tried. He's a nice guy, but it's hypervlogging to the max. I mean, he doesn't vlog. I just use that now as the cutting out everything extraneous except for the extreme point minimalist sort of fast cut videos that are out there. There's no personality beyond what he wants to show you at the moment. And so out of like 15 minutes of talking, you might, they do while recording, you get to see like 3 minutes of it, because everything that is not to the point is cut out. If it is not that joke, if it is not this thing, if it is not straight to the point, then boom, it's not there, it's gone, it's bam, bam, bam. And I don't like that. I don't like that at all. He's a nice guy, nice channel. I can't watch his stuff. So what I can and I'm willing to do right now, there's literally things I can't, just because of my fibro, I've got nerve damage, I've got, all sorts of issues that make it just hard. Chronic pain, fatigue, and weakness. My rechargeable battery does not charge up as far as other people's do when I sleep. There's a lot of reasons for that. I have horrible insomnia. Which is weird. Here's a quick digression just to show you how well my ADHD is being treated. Yesterday, I forgot to take my ADHD meds at 6 o'clock p.m. I normally take them 6 in the morning, right around noonish, right around 6ish. I forgot last night. I went walkies, came back, and it was 10:30 and I was getting sleepy, realized I hadn't taken my 20 milligrams of Ritalin, my methylphenidate hydrochloride, my few molecules away from being street meth drug. So I took that 20 milligrams right there, 10:30, and went to bed not long after. And I slept great until the med wore off around 4 o'clock and I woke up. And so I've been out of bed since about 4:30. But for the 5 some hours that the med was really strong in my body, I slept and slept well. So thumbs up on that. But even at that, I only sleep 5 hours. So there's insomnia, there's the weakness and pain, there's all sorts of other issues, because I've never slept well my whole life. Where my rechargeable battery doesn't go up as much. I might come up with, on a good day, like a 60% charge. So I'm down 40% on that before I even start my day. So a lot of stuff that I'd want to think about doing, it's exhausting to even think about before I even try doing it. And then, of course, there's things that I like and don't like, and if I try to do things that I don't like, it shows. It shows. You can tell. You can see the enthusiasm on my body. One thing my whole life that has happened is anything I feel on the inside shows on the outside. And if I'm not enjoying something, it shows. So if I'm not happy doing something, it's going to show. And do you think people are going to be happy watching a guy who's not happy what he's doing? So there's that. Yay. But again, it's like I say, I don't expect anything. I don't think I'm owed these things. It's just a matter of what I can do and what I can give versus what YouTube wants. And some of what YouTube wants, I just can't do, either because I'm not feeling it, or I physically can't do it, or I just don't enjoy that thing. Like with music, I've talked before, I really like difficult music, stuff that's really hard to listen to sometimes. I like Laurie Anderson, who's done really weird stuff in her early career. I really like Shoo Shoo, very strange experimental group. I really like Animal Collective, very experimental stuff. I watched the one video, which I can't even remember the name of the artist now, but the song Acid Rain, Lorne, Acid Rain, not a typical thing, kind of difficult music. And this sort of thing I really enjoy. I grew up my whole life liking some sorts of just product and stuff that wasn't exactly product. I mean, I listened to David Bowie and Devo and the Cars and groups like Slow Children, stuff that was normal to like. Pink Floyd, The Wall, I bought that album, played it to death, and stuff that wasn't normal, like the group The Nip Drivers with their album Oh Blessed Freak Show. But even at that, there's stuff that, like Metallica, I don't like Metallica. I never have. It does nothing for me. If I tried to do a reaction on Metallica, I'd hate it. I can't fake that stuff. All those older groups that maybe a lot of them you don't hear about or you don't know about because they were like a long time ago, some of them, Def Leppard and Quiet Riot. I remember these names, but I've never liked their music and I still don't. So, yay. And I've still been trying to be as creative as possible. I did go walkies. I was trying to think of my stuff last night. I don't always have to have a full dose of Ritalin to have a mental effect happen. I did pretty good keeping on track while walkies mentally, and that's a good thing. But I tried thinking about various points of this and that, and one of the things that I've talked about the geology of the inside and the razor's edge being very fluid. And it's also more than that. Reality is kind of wrinkled in that there's more there than you see. Now, for things like there's the crossroads, the more there are people around, the more an area is used for one thing, the more it gets worn into the area. But there are places that are just forgotten or just out there. They're still there. They're just harder to find, harder for the glamours to guide you there. But there's still times like it's the best way to describe the wrinkling of reality and how much more there is like out here on the outside, reality is like a koala brain. It's extremely smooth. What is here is here. There's no hidden wrinkles. There's nothing really fractal about reality. There's no more here than what there is here. If you go on to the inside, it's more of a human brain sort of wrinkling of reality with an infinite fractal. The deeper you go, the more there is, so there's always more. But it's still like the trying to come up with the best words for this. Again, it's the more people, the more intelligence there is, the more of a use an area gets, the more worn in it becomes of that area. It becomes less fluid, much more stable. There's still fluidity there. The razor's edge is like that on the inside, the wrinkled brain times 100. I mean, with the ebbing and flowing of energies from the inside and the outside, and they're like water and oil. They don't mix, but they're always just more this way, and it's just that causes a sort of static charge. There's always things just happening. There's a lot of fluid geography in the razor's edge. There's a lot more there than you can see. And what can happen, doesn't happen often, but can happen, is like if you've got a root cellar. You keep your potatoes down in the basement. It's a normal, regular place. It's just you got kind of a dirt basement. There's times you might go down there, and by the time you're down the third set of stairs and the fourth landing, you realize and remember, I only have one set of stairs that comes down. You just happen to walk into the more there. There may be a full dungeon there that normally you don't find and walk to. It's there. You just can't get there because the glamours aren't guiding you there. But sometimes it happens. You're not stuck 999,999 times out of a million when that occurs, and it is still pretty rare when it happens, but that many times out of a million, all you got to do is think about heading home and walking, you're out. So for a time, you got a place to explore until, now you go down there and it's just a basement again. So there's a lot more there. And there's a lot more I want to talk about all these sorts of things. I just rambled on various lots of stuff in between. And of course, I've opened up 24 hours worth of comments in my community tab, and I'm going to go through and thank, however many people have comments, far less than 25, and that's fine. It's more than 0, so thank you, each and every one of you. And if I mispronounce a username, no disrespect is intended. I'm an American English speaker, and even though I count in American Sign Language, with this memory on my, oh boy, getting better all the time, but I am going to reach a functional limit at some point. We have Glenn Gills, thumbs up and thank you. Confused Owl 29, thumbs up, and always good to see you in the comments. Hopefully your job is still going well. We have Oddity, thumbs up and thank you. There is Alzam Kohler. I'm nowhere close, but thank you very, very much. And Lucifer, oh boy, carbon monoxide is terrifying. You can die very, very easily from that stuff. Ben B, thumbs up and thank you. Jocelyn Williams, good to see you in the comments. We have Ice Damon, thumbs up. Quantum Blother, thank you very, very much. And that is it. Looks like 14 or 9 or 14. 9. I think it was much, much less than 25, but greater than 0. Thank you, each and every one of you, for having left comments in the past 24 hours on all of my videos. It is appreciated. It really is. You do get me out of my head and into the world, if even for short periods of time, dealing with people, if only in text. And really, that is appreciated, so thumbs up. And of course, I do not know what device you're watching this on, but somewhere is the video description, and in that is links to all of my channels. If you could check that out, that would be very cool. I also have links to things like Twitter, Facebook, Patreon.com, and if you could, once again, become a Patreon.com patron like one of these beautiful and awesome people. That truly would be beautiful and awesome. I mean, seriously, my rent has gone up, and I have like $100 to live on after I pay for my rent. So any help is good. If you'd like to help me out without becoming a patron, I do have a PayPal link. I'm not above grubbing for any spare cash that you can spare when you got next to nothing. Anything helps, so thumbs up. And of course, there's an Amazon wishlist link if you'd like to help me out that way with things like cat food on it. And I need to add a few more things. Hopefully I can fight through the executive dysfunction and get that done. Now, of course, do not feel obligated. I do not feel entitled. And if you cannot or you simply do not donate, I still do take all good wishes and I deposit them in the bank of my heart where I draw interest. So thank you very much. And of course, if you could toss me a like, that would be very cool, greatly appreciated. And if you could hit the notification bell on the subscription button, that too would be very, very cool. Thumbs up and thank you. Yay. And of course, seek creativity, keep your brain lubed, fight dementia, stay mentally active your whole life. Very good thing. Seek positivity. I was far too negative for far too long. It only hurts herself and others. And of course, seek balance in all things. Moderation in all things. Definitely a thumbs up on that. And of course, with the Covfefe bug still raging, if you have to go out amongst others, please wear a mask, maintain your social distancing, wash your hands often, try not to touch your face, get vaxxed if you haven't been, get the booster if it's available for you. It's just a disease. It only wants to spread, so be careful, be smart, thumbs up. Well, hokey smokes, I'm still, as always, fighting through depression, so I'm going to be doing what I can. A definite thumbs up on that. I'm going to be as creative and active as possible, so thumbs up on that. So until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is a definite thumbs up.